Welcome back to the channel, US Rare Coins News, Top 1 where history meets hidden fortune. Today, we're holding a piece of American pride, a coin that millions have seen, but very few truly understand. It's a quarter that doesn't just represent money, it represents freedom, independence, and a once-in-a-lifetime celebration. We're talking about the United States of America Washington quarter dollar dated 1776 to 1976, a coin created to honor the birth of a nation. Stay with me until the end, because this familiar quarter may be worth far more than its face value. The story of this quarter begins with America's 200th birthday. In 1976, the United States celebrated 2 centuries of independence, marking 200 years since the signing of the Declaration of Independence in 1776. To honor this historic milestone, the U.S. Mint made a rare decision, to redesign circulating coinage for the first time in decades. Instead of the usual eagle on the reverse, a special design was chosen to reflect the spirit of the American Revolution. Although the coin carries the dual date 1776 to 1976, it was actually minted in 1975 and 1976. This dual date alone makes the coin stand out in U.S. history, as no other circulating American coin before or after has featured a 2-century span on its face. The familiar portrait of George Washington remains on the front, symbolizing leadership, sacrifice, and the foundation of the nation. Washington's calm yet powerful expression reminds us of the values that shaped America. Now turn the coin over, and the story truly comes alive. The reverse design features a colonial drummer, a powerful symbol of the Revolutionary War. The drummer represents unity, resistance, and the call to freedom that echoed across the 13 colonies. Behind him, a victory torch surrounded by 13 stars honors the original colonies that dared to stand against an empire. This design alone transformed the quarter into a historical artifact rather than everyday change. What many people don't realize is that not all bicentennial quarters are the same. While millions were struck for circulation, special versions were also produced using different metal compositions and striking methods. Some were made with higher quality finishes, sharper details, and better preservation standards. Over time, most circulating examples became worn, scratched, or damaged, but a small number survived in exceptional condition. Collectors pay close attention to details like luster, strike sharpness, edge quality, and surface preservation. Even tiny differences can mean the difference between a common coin and a highly valuable one. Quarters that were never circulated, carefully stored, or professionally graded stand far above the rest in collector demand. Then there are the rare varieties and minting errors, coins that were never supposed to exist. Some bicentennial quarters show double details, off-center strikes, or unusual surface textures. Others were struck with exceptional clarity, making the drummer, torch, and stars appear almost three-dimensional. These rare pieces are the ones that spark bidding wars among serious collectors. Another fascinating aspect is the emotional value tied to this coin. For many Americans, this quarter represents a time of national pride, celebration, and unity. It was carried in pockets during parades, fireworks, and family gatherings celebrating the bicentennial. Today, that emotional connection adds to its desirability, making it more than just metal. It's a memory preserved in coin form. As years pass, fewer high-grade examples remain available. Coins that once seemed ordinary are now being rediscovered, examined, and authenticated. What was once spent on a soda or newspaper is now carefully studied under magnification, weighed, graded, and auctioned to the highest bidder. Now comes the moment you've been waiting for. When a Washington quarter dollar dated 1776 to 1976 appears in exceptional condition, with rare characteristics and professional certification, it has been known to achieve auction prices reaching $19,000. Yes, a single quarter, once worth just 25 cents, can now command a price that shocks even experienced collectors. So before you dismiss that old bicentennial quarter lying in a drawer or coin jar, take a closer look. History has a way of hiding wealth in the most unexpected places. Top 2. Today, we're taking a closer look at a coin that many people have spent without a second thought, yet collectors quietly search for every single day. It's a classic piece of American currency, simple in appearance but rich in history, the United States of America Washington quarter dollar from 1973. This coin may look common at first glance, but under the right conditions, it can tell a powerful story and carry surprising value. The Washington quarter has been a symbol of American strength and stability since it was first introduced in 1932. By the time 1973 arrived, the United States was going through major changes. The early 1970s were a period of political tension, economic shifts, and cultural transformation. Inflation was rising, traditional silver coinage had already disappeared from circulation, and the U.S. Mint was fully producing quarters using a copper-nickel-clad composition. The 1973 quarter belongs to this important modern era of American coinage. On the front of the coin, we see the familiar portrait of George Washington. His image is calm, dignified, and commanding, reflecting leadership and perseverance. Washington's presence on the quarter serves as a reminder of the nation's foundations and the values that shaped the United States. Even decades after its release, the design remains one of the most recognized coin portraits in the world. Turn the coin over, and you'll find the proud bald eagle with outstretched wings, perched on a bundle of arrows, symbolizing strength, defense, and unity. Olive branches beneath the eagle represent peace, creating a balance between power and diplomacy. This classic reverse design was used for many years, and for collectors, it represents the final chapter before major design changes came later in U.S. coin history. While millions of Washington quarters were produced in 1973, not all of them are equal in the eyes of collectors. Most were heavily circulated and show signs of wear, scratches, dull surfaces, and softened details. However, a small number of these coins were preserved in exceptional condition. Coins that retain sharp details, full mint luster, and clean surfaces stand out dramatically from the rest. Condition plays a massive role in determining a coin's worth. A 1973 quarter that looks almost brand new today is far more difficult to find than many people realize. These coins had to survive decades without heavy handling, improper storage, or environmental damage. Because of this, high-grade examples have become increasingly desirable. Even more fascinating are the rare minting errors and unusual strikes that occurred during production. Some 1973 Washington quarters display doubled lettering, off-center strikes, weak details, or surface irregularities caused during the minting process. These mistakes were never meant to leave the mint, which makes them especially appealing to collectors. Error coins are often considered unique pieces of history, each with its own personality and story. Collectors also pay close attention to strike quality. Some 1973 quarters were struck with exceptional sharpness, making Washington's hair details, facial features, and the eagle's feathers stand out with remarkable clarity. These superior strikes are rare and often command significant attention when they appear on the market. What makes this coin even more interesting is its connection to everyday American life. This quarter passed through hands during a time when payphones were common, newspapers cost pocket change, and gas stations still offered full service. It was part of daily routines, unnoticed and unappreciated, yet today, that same coin can be a centerpiece in a serious collection. As time goes on, fewer pristine examples remain available. Collectors around the world continue to search rolls, old collections, and inherited coin jars, hoping to uncover a standout 1973 Washington quarter. When one finally appears in exceptional condition or with a rare error, it instantly becomes the focus of attention. Now comes the moment you've been waiting for. When a United States of America Washington quarter dollar from 1973 appears in top condition, with rare characteristics and professional grading, it has reached auction prices of up to $12,000. Yes, a coin once worth just 25 cents can transform into a four-figure treasure. So before you overlook that old quarter tucked away somewhere, take another look. History has a way of rewarding those who pay attention. Top 3. Today, we're looking at a quarter that almost everyone has held, spent, or forgotten about at some point in their life. It doesn't shout rarity at first glance, and it doesn't look flashy, but that's exactly what makes it so fascinating. Today's story is about the United States of America Washington quarter dollar from 1974, a coin hiding its potential behind decades of everyday use. The year 1974 was a time of major change in the United States. The country was adjusting to economic uncertainty, rising inflation, and shifting global power. Coinage during this era reflected practicality rather than luxury. Precious metals had already been removed from circulating quarters, and durability became the focus. The 1974 Washington quarter was struck to survive daily commerce, not to be admired, but history had other plans. On the front of the coin stands George Washington, the first President of the United States and one of the most respected figures in American history. His portrait carries a quiet authority, symbolizing leadership, endurance, and national identity. By 1974, Washington's image had already appeared on the quarter for over 40 years, yet the design still carried a timeless strength that resonated with the American public. The reverse side features the iconic bald eagle, wings spread wide, clutching arrows with olive branches below. This powerful imagery reflects the balance between strength and peace, a theme deeply rooted in American ideals. Though this design was familiar to millions, collectors know that familiarity doesn't always mean lack of value, sometimes it means opportunity. Most 1974 quarters lived hard lives. They passed through cash registers, vending machines, parking meters, and countless pockets. Over time, scratches, dull surfaces, and worn details became the norm. Because of this heavy circulation, truly pristine examples of the 1974 Washington quarter are surprisingly difficult to find today. Collectors look beyond age alone. They focus on condition, strike quality, surface preservation, and originality. A 1974 quarter that still displays sharp details in Washington's hair, clean fields, and strong feather definition on the eagle instantly separates itself from the average coin. These high-quality survivors are where the real value begins to emerge. Then there are the coins that were never meant to exist. During the minting process, mistakes sometimes occurred: doubled lettering, off-center strikes, weak impressions, or unusual surface textures. These minting errors transform an ordinary coin into something extraordinary. Each error coin tells a story of imperfection frozen in time, and collectors prize them for their uniqueness. Another factor that adds to the appeal of the 1974 Washington quarter is its place in modern American history. This coin represents a generation that experienced major political events, economic challenges, and cultural shifts. It circulated during a time when cash was king and coins played a vital role in everyday life. Today, holding one is like holding a small fragment of that era. As years pass, collectors continue searching through old collections, inherited jars, and unopened rolls in hopes of finding that one exceptional coin. When a standout 1974 quarter appears, especially one with superior preservation or a rare minting anomaly, it quickly becomes the center of attention in the collector market. And now comes the moment that always surprises people. When a United States of America Washington quarter dollar from 1974 appears in outstanding condition, with rare characteristics and professional certification, it has reached auction prices of up to $8,500. Yes, a quarter once worth just 25 cents can become a remarkable collector treasure. So the next time you come across an old Washington quarter, don't rush past it. Take a closer look. You might be holding more than just spare change. Top 4. Today, we're focusing on a quarter that most people wouldn't even glance at twice, yet collectors quietly keep searching for it. It's modern, familiar, and often underestimated: the United States of America Washington quarter dollar from 1990. This coin may seem ordinary, but under the right circumstances, it can tell a surprisingly powerful story. The year 1990 marked the beginning of a new decade for the United States. The Cold War was coming to an end, technology was advancing rapidly, and the American economy was transitioning into a more modern era. Coins from this period were produced in massive numbers to meet daily demand, yet very few were saved with collecting in mind. That lack of preservation is exactly what makes certain 1990 quarters stand out today. The Washington quarter design had already become an American icon by 1990. On the front of the coin, George Washington's portrait appears strong and composed, representing leadership, responsibility, and national heritage. His image connects generations, reminding people of the foundations upon which the country was built. Even on a modern coin, Washington's presence adds a sense of historical depth. On the reverse side, the familiar bald eagle dominates the design, wings spread wide in a proud display of strength. The arrows in its talons symbolize readiness and defense, while the olive branches below represent peace. This balance between power and diplomacy is one of the most enduring themes in American symbolism, and it's beautifully captured on this quarter. At first glance, the 1990 Washington quarter looks just like countless others. But collectors know that value isn't always about age, it's about condition, rarity within survival, and uniqueness. Most 1990 quarters were heavily circulated. They passed through wallets, cash drawers, parking meters, and vending machines for years. As a result, the majority now show clear signs of wear. Finding a 1990 quarter that still looks nearly new today is far more difficult than most people expect. Coins that retain full mint luster, sharp details in Washington's hair, and clean surfaces without marks are increasingly scarce. These high-grade examples are where collector interest truly begins. Then there's the world of minting anomalies. During high-speed production, mistakes sometimes occurred. Some 1990 Washington quarters display doubled lettering, off-center strikes, weak impressions, or unusual textures caused during the striking process. These errors were never intended to reach circulation, which makes them especially fascinating to collectors. Each error coin is unique, offering something no standard coin can. Strike quality also plays a major role. Certain 1990 quarters were struck with exceptional clarity, giving the eagle's feathers and Washington's facial details a bold, crisp appearance. Coins like these stand out immediately when compared to typical circulated examples and often become highlights in modern U.S. coin collections. What makes this coin even more interesting is its connection to everyday American life at the turn of the decade. This quarter was used when payphones were still common, arcades were packed, and digital payments were unheard of. It quietly played its role in daily transactions, unnoticed and unappreciated, yet decades later, it's being re-evaluated under magnification and professional grading lights. As time passes, the number of top-condition 1990 Washington quarters continues to shrink. Collectors search old rolls, inherited collections, and forgotten jars hoping to find one that survived untouched. When a truly exceptional example finally surfaces, it draws immediate attention in the collector market. Now comes the moment that surprises almost everyone. When a United States of America Washington quarter dollar from 1990 appears in outstanding condition, with rare characteristics and professional certification, it has achieved auction prices of up to $6,000. Yes, a quarter from the modern era, once worth just 25 cents, can turn into a valuable collector prize. So before you overlook that 1990 quarter in your possession, take a closer look. Sometimes, the most ordinary coins hide the most unexpected rewards. Top 5. Today, we're diving into a quarter that many Americans have carried in their pockets without a second thought. It's not ancient, it's not flashy, and it doesn't scream rarity, but that's exactly why it deserves attention. Today's coin is the United States of America Washington quarter dollar from 1994, a modern classic hiding quiet potential. The year 1994 was a time of transition in the United States. The country was deep into the 1990s, a decade marked by technological growth, economic shifts, and cultural change. Cash was still king, and coins played a major role in daily life. Millions of quarters were minted to keep up with demand, and most were used immediately, passed from hand to hand with no thought of preservation. The Washington quarter design had long been a symbol of stability by 1994. On the front of the coin is the familiar profile of George Washington, calm, steady, and dignified. His image represents leadership, responsibility, and the foundation of the nation. Even on a modern coin, Washington's presence gives the quarter a sense of authority and timelessness. Flip the coin over, and you'll see the iconic bald eagle with wings spread wide. The eagle clutches arrows, symbolizing strength and readiness, while olive branches below remind us of peace and balance. This design had been part of American coinage for generations, and by the 1990s, it had become deeply embedded in everyday American life. At first glance, a 1994 quarter looks just like countless others. But collectors know that true value often hides in small details. Most 1994 quarters were heavily circulated. They jingled in pockets, slid across counters, and bounced through vending machines. Over time, this constant use left behind scratches, dull surfaces, and worn details. Finding a 1994 Washington quarter today that still looks sharp and fresh is far more difficult than people expect. Coins that retain original mint luster, crisp edges, and strong detail in Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers stand far above the average example. These well-preserved coins are where collector interest truly begins. Then there's the excitement of minting irregularities. During the fast-paced production of the 1990s, mistakes occasionally slipped through. Some 1994 quarters showed doubled lettering, off-center strikes, weak impressions, or unusual textures caused during the minting process. These error coins were never intended to reach circulation, which makes them especially appealing to collectors who value uniqueness. Strike quality is another important factor. Certain 1994 quarters were struck with exceptional clarity, making every detail stand out boldly. When compared side by side with ordinary circulated coins, these superior examples immediately catch the eye and command attention. What makes the 1994 Washington quarter especially interesting is its connection to everyday life in the mid-1990s. This coin was used during a time when the internet was just beginning to enter homes, CDs were replacing cassette tapes, and digital payments were still years away. It quietly served its purpose, unnoticed, yet today, it's being carefully examined, graded, and collected. As time moves forward, the number of top-quality 1994 quarters continues to shrink. Collectors search through old rolls, inherited collections, and forgotten jars hoping to uncover a standout example. When one finally appears in exceptional condition or with a rare minting anomaly, it quickly becomes the focus of serious attention. Now comes the moment that always surprises people. When a United States of America Washington quarter dollar from 1994 appears in outstanding condition, with rare characteristics and professional certification, it has achieved auction prices of up to $4,000. Yes, a modern quarter once worth only 25 cents can transform into a remarkable collector treasure. So before you overlook that old 1994 quarter, take a closer look. Sometimes, the greatest surprises are hiding in plain sight. That if you enjoyed uncovering the hidden value behind modern American coins, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another rare coin story. Your next discovery could already be waiting.